Hey, Paranormal Ghosties. This is Brenda.
And I'm Ryan.
We're Paranormal Triage. And we are currently at the Anderson Pioneer Cemetery. So we just thought we'd go live for a little while. And just kind of let you guys get involved in this. We don't know much about this cemetery except that it's more of like a local cemetery back when the settlers were here, when the gold miners were here. There's no real people of any kind of stature except for the original people that were the mayors of Anderson.
No, that's just
the mayor.
They just had he owned the land.
Okay, he owned the land.
So it's the Anderson family, right? Just like Reading, whatever. But this is the Anderson Pioneer Cemetery. So this was where they buried all the pioneers in the settlement of Anderson, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they were kind of all Oddfellows. It was part of the Oddfellow organization.
Well, yeah, they call it the old IOOF, or Independent Order of Oddfellows Cemetery, because that's what the Oddfellows did, is they buried people that couldn't, afford to be buried or didn't have anybody. So that's one of the things that they did, and this was one of their locations. There's several around Shasta County, but this is Anderson's.
Yeah, and if you don't know much about Oddfellows were kind of the leftovers that couldn't be part of the Masons for whatever reason. So they created the Oddfellows, and they were supposed to just be community servants, basically. Like Ryan said, to help people, the poor, bury people that couldn't afford to bury themselves. Well, they'd be dead, so how could they? But
they buried people that didn't have family. They helped educate orphans. They did stuff like that.
So, but to give you a little idea, let's see if we can swing this around a little bit. This is the plaque that the Historical Society has came in and left here, so that's pretty cool. Kind of gives you a little summary of the cemetery. And it was built right next to the train tracks. We got a nice sunset tonight. If you can see it, let me step over there a little bit. Pretty nice sun tonight.
Can I see it?
Anyway, and this cemetery also sits on I-5, so we're going to have a little bit of noise tonight. Not sure how well that's going to work out for us, but it's worth a try. We're going to see what we can do tonight. So we're going to give you a small tour of this cemetery to where we're going to go. We're actually going to, we're actually going to go to where the Andersons are buried and see if we can make contact with them.
So Elias and Elizabeth Anderson bought this land from a gentleman who had bought the original parcel of land from Pearson Reading out of the Buenaventura Land Trust. So that's where this originated from. It was originally part of that whole land trust that was the Cottonwood, California area, right? The Andersons did, and they gave the California-Oregon Railroad a right-of-way through their land, so the railroad put up a sign a few miles north of the train station, and they put his name on it, Anderson. So It's become the Anderson area now. Currently the city of Anderson.
So the first railroad that was actually established here, where they had a post office and all that kind of stuff, was in Cottonwood, California, and that's where Reading comes into play. He bought his land from the Mexican land grant.
Yeah, it was the Buenaventura land grant.
Yeah, so he got his land, and then it kind of just snowballed up the valley. So they just kept building.
So it was bought from Mexico.
Yeah, originally. So that's where Reading comes into play. He's also was the person that developed Redding, California. So it's a big story.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it. So we won't go down that rabbit hole too much. So we're going to take a walk here. What do you know?
So 1858, as we walk around, I haven't been able to find it, but 1858 is the first burial here was in 1858. So there's not anything older than that. From what I can see, the newest or most current to this time is like in the early 60s. So that's kind of the time frame you have here. Most of the ones that I'm seeing are like between 1870 and 1915. It's kind of where most of the markers say. So it's not very big. I mean, it's probably
What's the size of a football field, maybe?
I would say it's just about an acre, maybe a little bit smaller than an acre. And like Brenda said, you got railroad tracks on one side, I-5 on the other, kind of a business district in the city on past the railroad tracks. But yeah.
Yeah, and I-5's right there, lots of traffic.
I was kind of, not really shocked, but it kind of sparked my interest as this was the Pioneer Cemetery. The pioneers that came through, they obviously lived a rough life, right? A lot of kids are buried here. But in the grand scheme of other cemeteries we've gone to, there's really not a whole lot of people buried here. I mean, you look across and there's not a whole lot of markers that are up. There's definitely, you can see the unknown markers that will show you in the ground, but really when you look at it, I mean, it doesn't look like there's maybe more than 100 people buried here, which is kind of surprising that it was the Pioneer Cemetery that started in.
So I think when I was reading up on this specific cemetery, there was 109 recorded plots, and I think 89 photographed plots, and there's 50 markers that say unknown. So there's 50 unknown people buried here, and that could be just about anybody.
So just about half of the people buried here, they have no idea who they are.
Yeah. And our local historical society just got their museum up and running, and you can only go in by appointment. So we will be doing that. So it'll be interesting what they have to say about it. So they have been taking care of this cemetery finally, because we get a lot of people that want to come in and destroy these places, and it's a shame because there's just so much that we should remember and share, with our younger generations coming up, and why these cemeteries are important. Hey, Paul. Nice to see you.
Hey, Paul. There's a lot of little pioneer cemeteries kind of all over Shasta County where we're at. Like I said, this one doesn't seem very big in scale, size-wise, but also as far as how many people are here. But it's kind of interesting because it's really open. Like some of the other ones I've gone to are kind of like closed off and like super fenced in and stuff, but this is like kind of open.
Yes, I have to tell you a funny story. So when my kids were little, I guess they had to be about like 8 or 9, I guess. Me and my friend Janet, who were best friends in high school, she had a son that was about the same age, and we brought him down here one night, like in the middle of the night, and I parked my car, and the car was just packed. There was them and their friends and me and Janet, and it got really quiet. And all of a sudden, I just decided to scream as loud as I could at the top of my lungs. And I scared the bejeebies out of the kids. But, they still tell that story today. So it was worth it. I thought it was funny.
I'll remember that.
They talk about it all the time, so.
This is one of the unknown markers. So Paul, if you're our only watcher, I don't know if you have any.
I think Michael Matthias. I know who he is. Well, just from our page, but I think it's Michael Matthias. So if you're still there, hey.
Hey Michael, hey Paul. Hey, if any of you guys have any ideas about questions or anything that you have, shoot them out so we can answer them. Did a little bit of research. One of the interesting things is that person who was the first person to be buried here lived a pretty colorful life. He actually served under Napoleon for 10 years. So he fought in the Spanish-French wars under Napoleon. So there is a veteran person who lived and breathed with Napoleon. That's kind of cool. History here in Little Anderson, California.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Not Napoleon Dynamite, just to be clear.
Napoleon Bonaparte, the genius of a general.
Yeah. So it's amazing what you can find out or learn about when you drive by these little cemeteries every day, and you probably never stop and look at them. And then when you finally do, it's amazing the information you learn. And it's kind of exciting, actually. I think it is.
for more people to come here, because it's like how things are spread out, even the unknown markers. And you get into this spot and it's just wide open. So I don't know if people are still allowed to be buried here. Like I said, the most current one was 1962, I think, which is in the back corner over there.
Kind of shows you the cool markers. Some of them have been knocked over, but it looks like they're trying to repair them. So this is a whole family of Andersons right here. You have mom, dad, you have sons, and a couple other Andersons. Looks like a couple of sons maybe.
Well, you've got husband and wife, so you got Elias and Elizabeth. Those were the namesakes of Anderson. And you've got son here, and then a son there, and then 2 more gravestones that are been broken off. So we don't know if those are part of the Andersons, but it would make sense because it's all in the same vicinity.
There's actually quite a few infants in here, from the age of 2 months to 2 years old. Brothers, as a matter of fact, it looked like, that had passed away. So you have to think about all the disease that came through here when the settlers came and the gold miners came through. That also affected the Native American population here as well. So I was a little surprised not to see any Native Americans in the cemetery, but I don't know, that could be part of the unknowns. Because the Sacramento River is actually not too far from where we're standing right now. It's east, but it's probably, how far would you say Sacramento River is from where we're at right now?
Maybe 3 or 4 miles straight across.
Yeah. And this is only about 10 minutes from the investigations we've done in Cottonwood, where all this kind of started.
Yeah.
Where all the settlers started coming and the railroad got started and all that kind of good stuff.
That was also our very first investigation we ever did. It started in Montreal, so that was like our actual start.
Yeah, it was.
That opened up the can of mystery to all of this stuff. So we've kind of come back close by. But this is the Andersons. This is kind of one of the reasons why we're here. This is where we're going to start our investigation. I don't know if we want to kind of go now, wait for it to get a little darker.
Yeah, we're on a time crunch tonight, so we're a little forced to do this in the daylight. Not that the freeway would get any quieter, but I don't know. No better time to start than now.
So, I'm a little disappointed because we built our first portal, spirit portal. I was proud of myself that I built it, but I'm having some battery issues because I'm powering it with 2 9-volts to power the noise gate and the reverb on it, but they kill the 9 volts like within 5 minutes. So I didn't bring it tonight because you got to have external power, so I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to kind of put in sequence in line some 9 volts that'll last longer. So if any of you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But it works great when you plug it into the wall. But you can't do that out here. I'm not going to run an extension cord to our car.
Yeah.
So
the equipment you were going to use tonight, we actually have a Canon camera set up way down there, which is probably not going to catch much because it's not night vision or anything like that. We're going to use one of our Phasm cams, just for poops and giggles. We got our body cams on, which those are great because they catch a lot of stuff that the other cameras don't. Just like the Phasm camera will catch certain things that the other cameras won't. So then we also got our Panasonic I'm sure we'll bust out our favorite tool, which is the spirit box, the SB7.
Favorite SB7, we got it. It will be used. I'm kind of thinking we'll go right to that right away.
Okay.
Or do we want to try to do some recordings? Switch it up. Let's do some recordings. You always go to the SB7 right away.
All right. And I don't have a holder for my cell phone, so in order for me to do this live for a little while, I have to hold it.
We also brought the Ovilus with us. So let's get this thing turned on.
Meaning if you're into the Estes goggles or whatever, this probably would be a good place to do it if it wasn't for the freeway. But you know, these spirits are either going to communicate or they're not going to communicate. I don't think traffic really has anything to do with it. It has everything to do with what you can and can't hear.
All right, let's see. All right, so what time is it right now?
8:27.
8:27. We're at the Anderson Pioneer Cemetery, in front of Elias Anderson's headstone. He was born February of 1817, died in September of 1907. Next to him is his wife Elizabeth, and then their children. So Elias or Elizabeth. We're standing in the Pioneer Cemetery in Anderson, which is the town and the settlement that you guys started. I have a recorder here. You want to say something? Or I invite anybody, any spirit, to talk into the recorder. Tell us your name, or tell us anything you want. All right. Maybe we can have some luck with EVPs.
So, Paul, you made a comment that there was a lot going on around the cemetery. Are you just talking about the traffic, or are you seeing something that we're not seeing? Yeah, I like to read into things, so I'm hoping maybe you're seeing something we're not.
Elias or Elizabeth, we're standing in the Pioneer Cemetery in Anderson, which is the town and the settlement that you guys started. I have a recorder here. You want to say something? Or I invite anybody, any spirit, to talk into the recorder. Tell us your name. Or tell us anything you want. Nope. Didn't hear anything. Someone tell me what happens when you die. Where do we go? Is there a different dimension? Heaven or hell? Someone tell me what happens when you die. Where do we go? It's too hard. All I can hear is the freeway.
Yeah, I know. It makes it kind of complicated. I mean, I am an empath, so I'll switch your camera around just for a minute. You're probably tired of looking at Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm a little bit of an empath. It's just something I'm learning how to utilize and, kind of help us out in our investigation. So I do feel a lot of energy here. I can't say it's necessarily coming from this spot, but, I think there's an energy here for sure. Can't really say specifically what that means, so I don't talk to people. I can't generally hear people. I don't generally have messages for people. I just pretty much just feel the energy of the areas. And yeah, I feel a little dizzy right now. So we're going to get out some more stuff. See what we can do. We're going to throw some cat balls out. Those are kind of fun to use. When we were doing our investigation in the Cottonwood Cemetery, we were by some twins that had passed away, some twin girls, and I sat down there and talked to them for a long time, and our cat balls started going off. That was kind of cool. That's way out there. Are you gonna go fetch those when we're done? Hopefully they'll light up so we can find them all when it gets dark. So if there's anybody here that wants to just make your presence known, you can come touch one of these little white balls and set it off. It'll light up. Just let us know you're here. One would be fine. You don't have to set them all off. Do you have that Phasm camera going?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just gotta wait until it gets a little darker. Maybe out here, give us a sign. Give us a sign of anything. Tell me that you're here. Any of their unknowns. If you want to be known, tell us your name.
So he's asking for somebody from the unknown markers to come out, make their presence known.
Do you notice any energy different in any different spots as we were walking around?
Not earlier, because I wasn't really focused on that. I mean, I'm starting to get feelings, I would have to walk a little bit more to... I feel like back here, maybe, behind us. But there are unknown markers right here. It's probably a rattlesnake.
You'd know if it was a rattlesnake.
Now I feel like there's a lot of energy here. But we're also on the back of the unknown marker, so I would imagine that they're not really at rest, because when you pass away and you don't have anybody to help you cross over, you could probably get stuck in the in-between. You're not really in heaven, you're not really in hell, or whatever your belief is. You haven't transferred to that dimension that you're supposed to be in, whatever that looks like. I think that's still something that we need to discover. And I'd really go down that rabbit hole, but we're saving that for a different conversation, because our week has been very interesting when it comes to where we go after we pass away, what dimensions do we go to, and things of that nature. So Yeah, right here. That's just John.
I was trying to mess with this.
We have a cameraman. He was supposed to come help, but, you know, he's 12, and you know how that goes.
Yeah, trying to be a prankster, and I just saw him throw a rock. There, saw throw him another one.
Debunked. But yeah, I feel a lot of energy right here.
Now I need to throw a rock back. Anyway. So,
Dimensions.
yeah. There's, yeah. Well, we were talking about Pluto Caves, how that came up. Yeah, there's a lot of things that have come up with the whole dimension thing and where that theory comes from. A lot of interesting stuff. I don't want to like spoil it. So you'll have to wait till some of that content comes out.
Yeah, because we went down some rabbit holes, and
But we have to do a little bit more digging to either verify or debunk some stuff. So I don't want to give it away. All I can tell you is that there are some declassified FBI files that we found, 762 pages worth. So I'm going to look into that a little bit further and just make sure that I'm not giving out information that's not true.
yeah. So.
So
Anyways, but as far as like not having family to help you cross over, you know, we've learned a lot about the Native American culture, not even nearly enough as like I would like to learn, but it's, you know, when we pass, you know, in their culture, there's always somebody there waiting to help you get to the place that you belong. So as far as like cleansing and burning sage and stuff like that, in particular situations, you can actually get them stuck in a dimension where they don't need to be in it, and it doesn't allow them to cross over the appropriate way, or you can get them stuck in a dimension. So we're still kind of learning about that kind of stuff, and this is just part of our spiritual awakening, our spiritual journey, you know. And it's new every day. We learn something pretty cool every day. You know, this is not always jump scares and demons popping out of berry bushes over there, or, you know, 12-year-olds throwing rocks at you.
yeah, it's true.
I lost my train of thought now, but, you know, this is a journey for us, and, you know, we've had a handful of people kind of going on this journey with us that was kind of surprising. You know, they were people that we knew, but, you know, weren't close with, and they're now following us because they're on their spiritual journey. So this isn't to prove or disprove or, you know, tell you that everything that we do is right. I have the chills right now.
That's a really good point, because
I have head to toe chills right now.
Triage, we are paranormal investigators, and we are quote unquote ghost hunting, but we are on that spiritual journey to figure out kind of what resonates with us, and in that process we've met a lot of awesome people, and we hope that just as much as they have contributed to our spiritual journey, we will contribute to theirs. That's part of the reason why we do this. One, it's fun to come out here and see if we can capture evidence, but it's more so trying to just add evidence to, or take evidence away from, things that we've encountered in our spiritual journey.
So there's a lot of energy right here, not to interrupt you. If there's anybody in this area, can you set off one of the cat balls? Set off one of these cat balls out here, the little white balls. Because I feel like somebody's here and they want to say something. So don't be scared. We're just here to acknowledge you and let you know that you're not alone. You know, when you come to these cemeteries, I would imagine if it's been quiet for them for a while, you know, to get enough energy up to like set a ball off or to speak into your recorder, I would have to err on the side of caution and think that it might take a minute for them to learn how to do that, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure it's they gotta build that energy. They gotta get it themselves.
It's like you don't pass over knowing how to, you know, re-communicate with everybody. I would imagine there's, for lack of better words, a learning curve somewhere. I mean, unless, I don't know, unless you just pass on and you get those abilities to do that. You know, it's kind of reminiscent of the movie Ghost. You know, he had to learn how to move something. You know, and I only say that because, you know, you watch all these movies when you were younger and you're like, oh, that will never happen. And then it's happening. So, you know, why isn't there some truth to that? You know, there could be. You know, it's kind of a rabbit hole to go down. So you want to maybe put out you want to put the rim pot out?
Well, I didn't think we were going to be getting this involved.
It's all good.
Normally we don't have like open time, you know? Or, like, Kobe, you have the ovulus.
All right. I think we should turn the Phasm cam on because I think it's dark enough now. And I've never FaceTimed this long on Facebook, so I have no idea how much time we have. So if we get cut off at some point, I apologize. I think this is the first time that we've done a live, like an investigation for this long. I mean,
For this long, we did one in our bedroom. I don't know how long that was, but
that sounds bad.
well, Paul was there.
Oh. It was a ghost investigation because we have a portal in our room. Anyway, my bad. That's my stupid brain. But I am starting to feel a lot of energy here. I mean, I kind of have that dizzy feeling right now, and I kind of start feeling drained after a while. So if there's somebody here trying to pull energy, that could be why I'm having those feelings now.
Alright, this is going. I'm getting eaten by bugs.
And skeeters are out. There's the skeeters!
Okay. So that's running.
That's our Phasm cam. That's what that looks like.
Alright, so let's get our ovulus out here. Turn your infrared on your...
And we are filming, correct, on this? So in a lot of times when we're using some of these tools, especially like Phasm cams and recorders, we don't always hear things right away.
It hit right away.
What did?
It hit right away.
So we don't always see things right away, so it takes going back and watching everything. You know, we don't have enough eyeballs here. You know, we don't have a computer set up somewhere where somebody else is watching, so...
Greg sacrificed little.
Well, there's a lot of little people here.
Who's Greg?
Do you want to hold a camera or something? Do you want to watch in that camera?
Far.
Oh, now we're gonna hit a train.
I'm sure a lot of people that are buried here lived a life of sacrifice. You had to be a pioneer. Especially when the, you know, oh, thousand, or the ball's going off.
There's no way the train's, because it
Train's
hasn't
all
even
set off, because there's only one ball going off.
You know, the challenges of doing the paranormal. This looks like it's going to be a long train. But yeah, we had that ball go off right there.
So it said far. Kind of looked around and I caught that out of the corner of my eye. Diction?
Far makes sense because we're this far away. That's a little bit. I mean, we were standing over there and it said far, and then we have a cat ball right there that started going off.
So I was going to say, what I was saying is some of the settlers that are buried here, you guys, they have a lot of struggles, especially since the train was going through. You know, the train went through where you guys live. It's kind of ironic how the train's going.
Yeah.
That's what really put Peterson's name on the map, was that train where he gave the right away to the train.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to endure this train for a minute. I was just curious if there was any unknown markers over there. There's one right there, but is there any close to that one that might be relevant?
I don't know if I should say any names.
Yeah. You can say first names. I just wouldn't say any last names.
Rachel, did you set that off? You were buried here in 1920. Rachel, set that off again if that was you.
Hi, Brandy. Hope you're doing well. I see you.
Someone set one of the cat balls off. I know you can do it, you just did.
I was like, they're the train.
Yeah, there's no way that train set that off because all of them would be going off or would go off again when it was still going by.
Yeah, you would think so.
So,
Has anything else came up on there?
nope. Diction was the last thing.
So there's two unknown markers right here. Do you want to tell us who you are? Are you a settler? Were you a gold miner? If you were a gold miner, set the balls off.
Oh, that's going off again.
Oh, I probably can't get over there fast enough. Oh, see, that ball's going off again. For some reason, they're wanting us to come this way, and I don't know why. Huh?
It says January.
Yeah, now I'm getting like chills from head to toe. Getting that like funny feeling in my scalp.
January. Any of these markers have a witch? Who's a witch? If you're a witch, set the cat balls off.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's right here. Because I'm like super dizzy, super goosebumped out. And there's no even reason to feel cold right now. Because it's like, what, 100 and bazillion degrees right now.
No, right now, when we started, when we got here, it was like 93. I would say it's like 85, 86 degrees right now.
So it was at February?
January.
But wasn't he born in February? That's pretty close.
Could be one of the unknowns. Witch. Who's a witch?
Standing right here, I'm super dizzy.
Okay, why don't you hold this in case it says anything?
Constant.
What?
It says constant. It's constant. What's constant?
Dizziness?
Yeah, that's true. Is there a witch buried here? Were you a witch? Or did you do witch-like activities? Did you dabble in the occult? Because we're not witches, if that's what you're asking.
Who set the cat ball off? Who set the cat ball off? Tell me your name. Are you buried here or are you just a spirit? Are you a witch trying to scare us?
Here. Set that down if you're not filming for a minute.
It's running right now so I can get the audio.
Oh.
Like I set it down, I have the audio on mine.
Yeah. So I'm going to go there and turn the Phasm cam this way because I feel like for some reason it's pulling us, whatever it is pulling us this direction. So
tell me your name. Who set the cat ball off? Anderson, are you here? Any of the unknowns that are buried here, this is your opportunity. Rachel, did you set the cat ball off? Daniel, are you trying to get us to come over to your spot?
I haven't gotten any more names on here. No more words. something did fly by the lens, but I won't know until I go back and watch it. But it was pretty big. It wasn't small.
Come on, somebody tell me something.
So this is our obelisk,
Death spirit.
where they can get enough energy to say a word or make a word pop up. And the only one that was really relevant so far at this point was the word far, because we were standing way over there and then this cat ball started going off way over here. So whatever it is kind of pulling us this way. I'm gonna have a headache.
Set the cat ball off again.
Maybe ask about their kids.
There's a lot of children buried here. Is there any kids here? Anderson? I heard Anderson.
Did you?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson, if that was you, can you set one of the cat balls off or say hello?
If there's any kids out here, you can play with the cat balls. They're like toys. Is there any little boys? Come tell me your name.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was something. That's a girl?
Girl? How about little girls? Ooh, I just got like
Yeah,
goosebumps.
it's whatever it is pulling us to this direction. But then you do have, we're kind of in the center of all the unknown markers.
Any little girls or little boys, you can come play with the cat balls. Do you guys see animals here at night? What kind of animals do you see? There's a fox over there.
A fox?
See it? Fox.
Is that on the road or, oh, I see it. You sure that's a fox and not a shapeshifter? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's a fox.
That's the thing about the Northern California. We're like in the wooded Northern California, the real Northern California.
Remember, you got your mic on.
Oh, I do. And we have to not only contend with just people, but we're contending with bears and foxes and mountain lions and stuff like that. So we have to be kind of... Oh, and rattlesnakes. We get rattlesnakes, so...
There's a lot of young kids that lost their lives way too early in the pioneer days. Is there any kids that were buried here by the Oddfellows?
There's that voice we always get. I swear to God, that thing follows us around. Guess I shouldn't swear to God, but I mean, you know what I mean. I swear.
The gentleman who fought for Napoleon, tell me your name.
Oh, this just said gateway. But it is a cemetery, so, you know, it said gateway. Jumped in gateway. So did it jump from the gateway? Did you jump out from a gateway? And did you go back in? So, I don't know if you guys can read that. It gets a little blurry, but those are the words that we're getting. So gateway is a portal, basically, where spirits can travel to and from. And it said jumped, so potentially the spirit could say it jumped through that gateway. I'll say no. What was that?
I could have sworn I just heard it say Satan. But I don't hear very well, so we're going to have to go back and review that.
Got a nice moon tonight. So this is our Phasm cam, because I know I have a couple. Hi, Jenny, I see you. That's what it looks like through our Phasm cam. That's what you're looking at. So this camera will catch certain things that night vision won't catch, and vice versa. So we go back and we have to go through all this footage to see if we actually captured anything. Obviously, there just went a bug because we're being attacked by bugs right now. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap this live up. Oops, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Rachel, did you want to say something? Were you the one that set off the cat ball? Daniel? If there's a gateway here, come through it and come talk to this recorder. Give me a message. Rachel, did you want to say something? Were you the one that set off the cat ball? Daniel? If there's a gateway here, come through it and come talk to this recorder. Give me a message. Yeah, it's hard because all I hear is the freeway.
Yeah, so we'll have to go through this. It's kind of meticulous, so you kind of have to go through this stuff. Be really meticulous about what you think you hear and don't hear. So anyway, we're going to say goodnight for now, and thanks for joining us. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
We're going to do a little bit more investigating on our own and see if we can get anything else this next half hour. So hope you guys have a good night. Toodles.